In 2025, DoorDash became the largest food delivery platform in the United States, handling more than 65% of all app-based orders, leaving Uber Eats and Grubhub far behind. But beneath that growth is a system that is nothing less than slavery, disguised in modern form. And when the curtain finally fell, it shocked everyone. DoorDash settled a $16.75 million lawsuit after an investigation revealed that the company had been using customer tips to cover driver base pay. The base pay, which is as low as $2 to $3 for a single delivery. Besides, there are no benefits, no job security, and the earning is less than minimum wage. Modern slavery doesn't wear chains, it wears a DoorDash uniform. DoorDash didn't invent slavery, it just found a way to modernize it. What used to be forced labor back then is now called flexibility. DoorDash claims they give drivers freedom, no boss, no fixed hours. But in reality, the algorithm is the boss. The algorithm that decides who gets the order, how much they'll be paid, and how fast they have to move. Decline too many orders, you get shadow banned. Drive too slow, and you're penalized. Drivers also need to pay for their own gas, car maintenance, and insurance. So what did the driver get at the end? Nothing. The company pays just enough to keep you coming back. This is how modern slavery looks like in the digital age. No chains, no overseers, just data points, metrics, and a leaderboard that tells you who's the most desperate to work. And somehow, even with millions of drivers working around the clock, the company still hasn't earned a good profit ever since it was founded back in 2013. Isn't it strange? The only thing growing faster than its orders is the number of people stuck in its system, chasing tips that never come and deliveries that barely cover their fuel costs. Now the million-dollar question, or should I say, the billion-dollar question. Where is all this money that DoorDash is pocketing from its customers actually going? Let's find out. The next time you order a $12 meal, look at your total. By the time it reaches your doorstep, the $12 turns into $30. As food theory explains here,
there's a service fee, a delivery fee, a small order fee, because how dare you order for just yourself, and oh, don't forget the tip. So naturally you start to wonder, why has food delivery gotten so insanely expensive?
But here's where it gets worse. The delivery fee doesn't even go to the delivery driver, it goes to DoorDash.
Delivery driver doesn't get any of the delivery fee. That's right, it goes to operational costs like the vehicle maintenance, fuel, and other overhead costs. In a way, the driver does get some of that, but not in the form of money that they can use to live. Instead, drivers rely on tips, which means another 15 to 20% added to your bill.
And again, the same tip which DoorDash was pocketing from their drivers, and it had to pay $16.75 million in settlement. Between May 2017 and September 2019, DoorDash used a guaranteed pay model to show delivery workers how much they would make before accepting a delivery. The investigation by the New York Attorney General found that under this model, DoorDash used tips from customers to offset the base pay guaranteed to workers rather than giving them the full tips. Which means, if the driver is earning $10 for an order and a tip of $3 on top of that, they would still only receive $10 for the order and the tip will go to DoorDash. And that's how DoorDash stripped its workers one delivery fee at a time. So, if drivers aren't making money and customers are paying more than double the meal's value, then who's actually profiting from all of this? The obvious answer should be the company in question, DoorDash, right? Wrong. The twist is, even DoorDash hasn't been able to generate a consistent profit ever since. It was founded in 2013.
Let's get one thing clear. Despite taking chunks of change from both the customers and the restaurants, these delivery apps still aren't making money. What? How? I know. DoorDash, the #1 delivery app in the United States, only recorded a profit in 2024, a full 11 years after they started up.
DoorDash charges commissions between 15% to 30% per order, cutting into already thin margins. A 2024 study by the New York Times found that delivery markups have risen by up to 91% compared to dine-in prices. A $12 burger can easily become a $28 in checkout with service fees, small order fees, temporary fuel charges, and a mandatory Dasher tip. But none of it fixes the problem. It just moves money around.
Despite their high fees, they're still dealing with huge costs like marketing, app development, customer service, and most importantly, paying the driver.
DoorDash's business model runs on volume, not value. It's designed to keep the illusion of growth alive. More orders, more users, more markets. even if every delivery loses cents on the dollar. Investors buy that illusion because the growth looks good on charts. But growth doesn't feed the people making the deliveries. It's a cycle built on desperation. Drivers need money, customers need convenience, restaurants need exposure, and investors need expansion. So, DoorDash keeps growing. This is where the modern slavery really comes into play. Every time you tap Order Now, someone on the other end is sprinting to make it happen. The average dasher works 8 to 12 hours a day, often juggling multiple apps just to break even. According to a recent survey, 19% of the gig workers working for companies like DoorDash and Uber Eats went hungry because they couldn't afford a meal. 31% didn't have enough money to pay for gas or electric bills. This is the cost of independent contractor. DoorDash doesn't pay for wait times, traffic delays, or downtime between orders. To keep going, drivers chase incentives, peak pay, challenges, priority access, but those incentives work like digital bait. DoorDash's own app sends messages like earn an extra $15 if you deliver 3 more orders, right before a driver logs off. Psychologically, it's a loop, a mix of dopamine and debt. You work longer hoping for better pay, but the pay drops the more you work. It's kind of a never-ending phenomenon. Most of the drivers never reach the break-even point. It's like that classic carrot-on-a-stick trick. And every minute you're online, DoorDash is collecting data. Your route, your habits, your performance. You become a metric inside a machine that profits from your persistence, not your success. Even insurance and healthcare are out of reach. Every time new labor laws are proposed, DoorDash redefines the language. Independent contractor, flexible earner. These terms save them from any legal trouble while still exploiting their delivery drivers. And it's not just DoorDash. Uber Eats, Grubhub, Instacart, they all play the same game. In food delivery apps, market share shifts fast. In early 2024, DoorDash held around 67% of US meal deliveries, followed by Uber Eats at 23% and Grubhub at 8%. But the dominance doesn't mean better pay for workers. A 2024 study found that drivers on delivery platforms like Uber Eats and DoorDash saw average monthly earnings drop up to 15% while their hourly work has increased. Grubhub itself faces its own crisis. In December 2024, the company agreed to a $25 million settlement for misleading drivers and hiding fee structures from customers in restaurants. The investigation found that Grubhub engaged in illegal practices by misleading customers about the cost of delivery and the benefits of a Grubhub subscription, deceived drivers about the amount of money they could make, and listed restaurants on its app without their knowledge or consent. It's easy to ignore the vehicle once the order hits delivered. But for drivers, every shift is a risk. From traffic accidents, vehicle wear, insurance gaps, to injury without safety nets. Food delivery drivers are working under dangerous conditions. A recent systematic review titled The Human Cost of Fast Deliveries found that last-mile delivery workers face significantly higher accident rates than any other transport sectors. Insurance doesn't cover many of them. According to a blog analysis, nearly 1 in 2 food delivery drivers reported being in an accident while on duty. The more exhausted a driver is, the more likely they are to make errors while driving, thus causing accidents. This isn't freedom. This isn't an earn-as-you-go job. More than 42 million American workers now plug into the gig economy. In one survey of 419 delivery app drivers in 2025, 65% reported borrowing money while waiting for earnings to appear, and 61% admitted delaying bills because payouts lagged. Meanwhile, the global market for gig delivery and on-demand work has already crossed over $580 billion and growing. And despite all this scale, delivery workers were found to earn below minimum wage. It's a system where the volume is the product and the workers are the cost. What all this shows is clear. Whether it's DoorDash, Uber Eats, or Grubhub, the business model is the same. Outsource the risk, externalize the cost, keep the growth, and while the apps fight for dominance, the last person in the chain keeps losing. So, what do you call a system where people work full-time, burn fuel, take all the risks, and still can't afford a doctor's visit or a meal? If that's not slavery, then what is?